Myself is Divya Behal, Assistant Professor in Chemical Engineering Department at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. The subject that we are going to continue is Mass Transfer Operations 2. Let's solve an example. So here you can see that a 100 kg bath of granular solid containing 30% moisture is to be dried in a tray dryer to a 16% moisture by passing a current air of 350 Kelvin. Okay, its velocity is given. If constant rate of drying under this condition is 0.7 into 10 raised to minus 3 kg per meter square second, right? And critical moisture content is given. Calculate the time required for drying. Okay, drying surface is given here. 0.03 meter square per kg dry weight. Okay. Now, initial moisture content is how much? 30%. Okay, on wet basis is given. Your final moisture content till which you have to dry it off, that is 16%. And the critical moisture content is what? 15%. Now see in the graph, till XC moisture content, which rate follows? That is your constant drying rate. Okay, hence what we are using the formula of theta C is equal to SS by 8 whole into X1 minus X2 upon NC. Okay, here X1 is what your initial moisture content. Now see, 30% moisture is given in the question. Okay, as nothing is represented here, just take it in the form of mole fraction. Now you have to convert it into what? Dry basis. So what I am doing, I am converting it into dry basis. Okay, 0.3 upon 1 minus 0.3. That is equal to 0.428. This is your moisture content on dry basis, right? Similarly, final moisture content is what here? 16%. Now here I am again converting into dry basis. So that is what? 0.19 kg moisture per kg dry solid. That is your dry basis analysis, right? You have been given your surfaces drying is given. 0.03 meter square per kg dry solid. Okay, here dry solid is there, hence we can take this directly. If wet solid might have been given, you have to do the further calculation. Okay, so A by SS is given as 0.03. So SS by A is what? 1 upon 0.03, right? Now just substitute all the values. Okay, again NC, rate of drying period. Here note down, your representation is always in form of hour. Okay, because in second your value would be very high. So what you are doing, you are given the rate as 0.7 into 10 raised to minus 3 kg per meter square second. You are converting into what? Per hour. So what you are doing, you are multiplying it with 3600 second, because in 1 hour is equal to 3600 second. Hence you get your rate as 2.52 kg per meter square hour. Now substitute all the values. Okay, so hence your time required for drying is what? 3.15 hour. Now note down here, see, your XC is given as what? 15%. Okay, XC is 15%, but you have to dry it up to what? 16%. Your final moisture content is more than critical moisture content, right? Hence you can see the total drying period, okay, that is included, that is only limited up to constant rate period, because your final moisture content till which you have to remove the moisture, that is more than critical moisture content, right? So this way you have solved your example. The next question, let's see. Here slab of paper pulp 100 cm into 100 cm into 1.5 cm. Okay, this is your given your dimension, is to be dried, okay, from 67% to 30%. Initial is what? 67%. Overall final is what? Till which you have to dry, that is a 30%. Now equilibrium moisture content is what? 0.5 here. Okay, if critical moisture content is 60%, critical moisture content, again what is it? That distinguish it. Okay, that differentiates constant rate period and falling rate period. Okay, so you have been given critical moisture content as 60%, and the rate of drying is given as 1.5 kg per meter square hour. Okay, so calculate that drying time. Here dry weight is given as 2.5. Okay, all moisture contents are on wet basis. So here first of all, what is your area? You have calculated 100 into 100 into 2. Okay, why 2? Because on both the sides we have to do it. Okay, 1.5 centimeter is your thickness. See, drying area, you are suspending it. Okay, so both the sides would be subjected to drying. Okay, so hence we are multiplying it with 2. So you got your area as 2 meter square. Now dry weight is given as 2.5 kg, right? Now initial moisture content is what? 67% on wet basis. Convert it into dry basis, hence you got your 2.03 as kg moisture per kg dry solid. Clear? Similarly, for convert all your moisture contents in your dry basis. Final moisture content is what? 0.428. and your equilibrium moisture content is again as 0.05025. This was done. Now the rate is also given as 1.5 kg per meter square hour. Similarly, what you have done, you have converted your critical moisture content also. So you get it as 1.5. Now see here, go to this curve, okay. Here your critical moisture content, it is given as 60%, but you have to dry it up to 30%, okay. 30, that is less than critical moisture content, okay. It means falling rate period would also be there and constant rate period would be there. Hence your total time required for drying is what? Time required during constant rate period plus falling rate period, okay. So hence what you are doing, you are substituting formulas of both the periods, okay. Now substitute all the values which you have calculated, the initial moisture content, critical moisture content, equilibrium and the final moisture content, okay. See here it is given x2 is less than xc, okay. The final condition till which you have to dry 30%, that is less than critical moisture content. Hence your falling rate period will also be there. So substituting all the values what you got, your total time which is required for drying is how much? 2.01 hour. So this way you calculate your sums for your drying questions, okay. So now the next topic in your drying section, okay, that is the factors affecting rate of drying, okay. We saw the equation of drying, okay, for constant rate period and falling rate period. Now this rate, of course, it depends upon certain factors. So let's move on with it. First of all, it depends upon the gas velocity. It is very clear when the velocity of gas is high, then rate increases, okay. As velocity is high, so what does it increases? Mass transfer coefficient increases, okay. In your mass transfer operation 1, you might have studied the relation of mass transfer coefficient, okay. What are the factors that increases mass transfer coefficient? So here same is the thing, as your velocity increases, mass transfer coefficient increases, and because of this, that your rate also increases. Next is humidity of your gas, okay. Lesser the relative humidity, more will be the rate. Of course, already your gas, it has less amount of water, then the concentration difference is what? High. Higher the concentration difference, more will be the rate, because at the end your rate, it also depends upon what? Concentration difference, okay, on the difference of partial pressures of water, right. So less the humidity, more will be the rate. Now next is area of drying surface, okay. Of course your aim is what? To dry as much as possible, okay. So if the wet surface which is to be dried, okay, that exposed area is more, then more amount of mass can be transferred out, okay, more amount of water can be taken out from your wet solid, okay. So higher the exposed wet surface area, more will be your rate. Next factor is your temperature. Here this we will be studying in psychrometry, okay, that how temperature is related here, but for instance just learn it that if the temperature increases, okay, then your gas becomes more unsaturated. More unsaturated means the amount of water vapor in your gas, that is less. It means your driving force for mass transfer, right, it has been increased. Higher the driving force, more would be your rate, right. Temperature of what? Temperature of gas which you are using to dry out, right. So these are the factors that affect your rate of drying. Now the next topic is to study about the drying equipment, okay. Of course when you are carrying out a drying operation, you will do it in certain equipments, okay, not randomly in any area you will do it. So these are the types of dryer which you have to study, okay. So you are classifying your dryers based on these three methodologies, okay, based on these three criteria. First of all, on the basis of mode of operation, okay. So on the basis of mode of operation, they are batch and continuous type, okay. Batch means you are loading your wet solid, okay, only one time in your dryer, in your equipment, okay, and then you are drying out. Continuous means continuous in and out of your wet solid is happening, okay. Wet solid is going in and dried solid is coming out, okay. At that instant only in and out of your product is happening, right. Next is nature of the material. What kind of substance you have to dry off, okay. What kind of your wet solid is there. It can be slurry also, it can be paste, it can be sludge, right. Then it can be in powder form also, okay. Just for instance sand, okay. If we have to dry out the sand, then sand is what? In the form of powder form it is, right. In the granules form it is. So that is the nature of material. Similarly, it can be in the form of fibrous solid also. See, the main application here is in the food industry, right? There are many areas in which you have to carry out the drying, especially in food industry. So this way the material is important here. What kind of material we have to dry out, okay? So based on that material, okay, different kind of equipment is used. Then on the method of heat transfer. So your heat, okay, how you are supplying heat, that can be direct and indirect. Okay, so these are the ways you are classifying your dryers. Now, on the basis of mode of operation. So here you have batch and continuous dryer, right? In batch dryer, definite size of batch is fed, okay? Or definite size or a limited amount of wet solid you have to feed it, right? They operate under unsteady state condition, okay? With respect to time, your concentration is always changing. It is expensive, okay? Then it is used for small scale operation. So these are the conditions of your batch dryer. Now talking about continuous dryer, okay? Material flow is in and out continuously, right? It operates under steady state condition, okay? The steady state condition, it means it is fixed over there, that in this much amount of time the limited amount of your water would be evaporated. So it is a steady state operation, right? Used for large scale operation. It is relatively cheap and uniform drying is there. So these are the some of the points about your mode of operation, okay? About your batch drying and continuous dryer. Next is on the basis of mode of heat transfer. Now, on that basis we have direct and indirect dryers, okay? Now in direct dryers, your wet material, it is in direct exposed to hot gas, okay? So your hot gas, the media which you are using to carry out the drying operation, that is in direct contact with your wet solid, right? It is also called as adiabatic dryers because externally you are not supplying any heat, right? Now, heat of evaporation for moisture is supplied by the sensible heat of hot gas. Of course, hot gases, the temperature difference would be there, right? So, heat of evaporation, your liquid has to get converted into vapor. That amount of heat would be supplied by what? Sensible heat. Okay, temperature difference of the hot gas. That amount of heat, that is sensible heat. Okay, it gives to the water present in your wet solid. Next is your indirect dryer. So first point is that your heat is supplied via conduction through a metal surface. So here you can note down that your wet solid, it is being differentiated with your hot gases. Okay, they are not in direct contact. Okay, they are separated via a plate. Okay, a plate might be there when we will continue the equipments. Okay, you will see how they are separated. Okay, so heat is supplied via conduction over here. Now, here heating is provided by external media, okay, like condensable gas passing through metal wall, okay, condensable gas is passing through, so external media is there, hence it is what non-adiabatic operation. But the first kind of equipment is tray dryers. So first of all, what it is a batch dryer, okay, and it is operated in what way? In direct mode of heating, okay. Now, the material which is to be dried, it is kept in your removable trays. Okay, so here you can see the example is, okay, in the figure you can see that in trays you are feeding your wet solid, and then that is a removable tray. Then you are feeding it back into the equipment, right? So this is the construction of your tray dryer. Now, moisture evaporates from wet feed as air is added. Okay. Now, to avoid heat loss, about 80 to 95% of your air is recirculated. Okay, of course, you are using what? Hot gas. Now, to conserve energy, what you are doing? You are doing the recirculation of gas. However, it is preferred that you use fresh gas. Okay, but here heat loss would be there. Now, the overall rate of drying is 0.2 to 2 kg water per meter square hour. Okay, that is the overall rate of drying, and your thermal efficiency is about 20 to 25%. Right? So here you can see the image of your tray dryer. Right? So you can see now about the working, you can see heating coil is kept, right? Air, when it is passed through that heating coils, okay, it will get heated up. Okay, so this hot gas now it comes in contact with your trays which has wet feed in it, right? And because of that transfer of water occurs, now this air, okay, your air which has water vapor in it, it is passed out through your outlet. Okay, the damper, what does it do? Damper is, you can say it is a enclosure. Okay, if you change the position of damper, you can recirculate of your air. Okay, less amount of air would be escaping, so that air, because of fan, it will transfer back. Okay, so this way recirculation occur. So this is the working of your tray dryer. Now the advantages and disadvantages here. First of all, it is cheap and easy to build, right? You can see from the construction, it is not very hard to construct it. Now the requirement of space is what? Low. Next is ease in cleaning, right? It can easily be cleaned out because your trays, okay, there are no blank points are there where your material will get trapped, right? The maintenance is low and product loss is low, okay, approximately zero your product loss is there. About the disadvantages, first of all, problem of loading and unloading is there. Okay, here you can see that individually you have to fill up your trays. Okay, so labor cost is there. Okay, so you can say that operating cost is high, right? Now, time required for drying is long and only small amount can be handled. So this was about your tray dryer. Now the next type of dryer is your rotary dryer. Okay, it is one of the very important kind of your dryer. Now, the mode of operation is what? It is operated continuously, whereas your mode of heating can be direct and indirect, right? So, rotary dryer, from the word rotary you can see that it is a cylindrical shell, okay? It is set with an axis at a slight angle to the horizontal so that material flows evenly under gravity. So, here from the figure you can see that on the axis it is slanted up, okay? So, when you are feeding your wet feed from your entrance point, it can easily flow throughout its length because of gravity, right? Now, the shell is mounted on the roller so that it rotates at 2 to 25 RPM speed, right? So, here you can see that those are the rollers on which you are mounting your shell. Okay, this whole arrangement, this shell, it rotates at 2 to 25 RPM. The thermal efficiency is about 50 to 80% and your drying rate is between 10 to 50 kg per hour meter cube of your shell volume, right? Here you can see the description of your rotary dryer, okay? From the inlet, wet feed is passed through it, okay? Similarly, your air is also passed through it, okay? Now, here you can see that cyclone separator is kept over here, okay? So, here I can say that the problem of product loss can be there, okay? Air carries out some of your product with it. So, cyclone separator, what does it do? It separates out your product from the air, right? So, in the bottom of your cyclone separator, you get your dry product, right? So, this was about your rotary dryer. Now, again your rotary dryer are classified, okay, based on how you operate it, okay. So, first it can be direct, indirect rotary dryer, okay. Next is your direct heat counter flow, then direct heat parallel flow and indirect heat counter flow. Your counter flow, parallel flow, what does it suggest? Okay, the contacting of air and feed. Okay, counter flow means if your feed is coming from left hand side and your air is coming from right hand side, then they are in your counter current fashion operation, right? Parallel flow means both your feed and your air, okay, both are traveling in same direction, okay. Now direct and indirect is, we can see here, okay. So first of all is your direct indirect dryer, okay. You can see that in the combustion space you are passing your gases, okay. So flue gases, in the middle section you can see that flue gases is passing out, okay. You are sending your feed from the top, okay. So this flue gases from the center line, it will move towards the annular region, okay, from where your feed is coming. So the mode of operation is both direct also and indirect also, as your flue gas is passing through the center, okay. So that at that time indirect contact is there. Now when your flue, it comes into contact with the feed, okay, when your flue gas comes in contact with the feed, then direct drying occurs, okay. So this is your direct indirect dryer. Next is your indirect counter current dryer. So here you can see that your feed, okay, you are sending it to the dryer, your flue gases is passing through it, okay. Now feed and your flue gases, okay, they have indirect contact between them, okay. In a counter current flow, they are coming in contact with each other, but the mode of heat transfer is what? Indirect, okay. So this is about your indirect counter current rotary dryer, okay. Now about the advantages and disadvantages. So first of all, advantage is that it has very good gas contacting, okay. Then amount of time, okay, moderate drying time is required. Now here it is more beneficial than your tray dryer, right? We saw that long time was required in your tray dryer. Now the capital cost is low and your thermal efficiency is also high. We saw that 50 to 80% is your thermal efficiency, right? Now it has greater flexibility to control gas velocity, right? So here you can see that you can alter the gas velocity also, because it is what ultimately in a continuous flow operation. The disadvantage is that product built up on the wall, okay. It is possible that your product may stick to that wall also, okay. So loss of product is happening here. Then high structural load is required, okay. Here you can see that the arrangement, so you have to, structural load is there, okay, because you have to make the support for your rotary dryer, right? Then non-uniform residence time is there, okay. So the contacting between gas and solid, okay, it may be different from entrance to exit, right? So non-uniform residence time is there. So these are the points about your rotary dryer. So that was for today's lecture. Thank you.